What's your name and are you comfortable sharing this story with us?
Yes. My name is Samantha. I was born and raised in Toronto, Ontario, and I moved here 5 years ago for acting. It was supposed to be for pilot season, which is like three months, and things were going so well, so then I just ended up staying 5 years later.
So, what made you choose Vancouver as opposed to any other city in Canada?
For the industry, the acting industry. So I was acting in Toronto, but in Vancouver, there's not as many Black people. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna take advantage of that situation, and I came and I cleaned up. So
And how are you
that's fine.
finding it so far?
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I hear a lot of people have contrasting views, but my experience in Vancouver is beautiful. I love it here.
And could you expand a bit on your experience in Vancouver?
Um, it's where I became an adult. I'm in love with the nature, the mountains. Like, it's the nature for me. It's not so much the people because it's difficult to actually make friends. Um, what else? Yeah, I mean the people that I do connect with. Most of my friends, all my friends are from Toronto, so it's weird. Like, there's a difficult aspect of like making friends here, but I don't know the vibe. I don't know. I love the vibe, the energy.
And so, what makes it difficult to make friends here as opposed to Toronto? Is there
It's a good
anything
question.
that you can pinpoint?
It's I don't know if it's I don't even know if it's the particular place because when I was in Toronto, like I was living in Ajax, right? And so the friends that I made there were from high school. So now it's I guess you know what it is? It's like now that I'm an adult, it's different making friends as an adult when you were like so all the friends I had back then were like from school. So I think that's what the difference is. And I do notice that this like it's clicky here. Like if you're not like already like down with click, then they don't really like you'll connect and you'll have like the most passionate night with people. Say, oh my gosh, let's be best friends forever. And then tomorrow you forget about it. They don't call, like it's one of those. You know what I mean? Um,
So, that experience, would you relate it to a community or sense of community or love thereof?
so naturally I do want to make more friends with black people. It's difficult to find where they're even hanging out. So with my experience, I've noticed that like Republic Sundays was a spot, but it's gone now. Republic Sundays was at this nightclub on Granville, where like they would always play the best black music. So all the black people would congregate there. But I noticed that all the black people were living like in the suburbs. So that's where I would go. And then there's Calabash, which is nice. So like you just have to know the spots. But like if you're not frequenting those spots, it's difficult to make those connections.
Do you feel Black in Vancouver?
Yes, I feel black everywhere though. But I feel like my views are very contrasting of a lot. I'm like afraid to say it, but like my views are just different than your average because I look for love in everything I see. And I have a lot of black friends who are like, yo, I went out and this person was getting at me because like I was black. And it's like, that's always their experience, always. And it's like, I may be not having those experiences because I'm not looking for it. So I think that's the difference. But like when I go out in the world, I'm a proud black woman. I just don't think of it as like any sort of hindrance or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, have you ever heard of Hogan's Valley?
Action.
What's your name and are you comfortable sharing this story with us?
Yes. My name is Samantha. I was born and raised in Toronto, Ontario, and I moved here 5 years ago for acting. It was supposed to be for pilot season, which is like three months, and things were going so well, so then I just ended up staying 5 years later.
So, what made you choose Vancouver as opposed to any other city in Canada?
For the industry, the acting industry. So I was acting in Toronto, but in Vancouver, there's not as many black people. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna take advantage of that situation, and I came and I cleaned up. So
And how are you
that's fine.
finding it so far?
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I hear a lot of people have contrasting views, but my experience in Vancouver is beautiful. I love it here.
And could you expand a bit on your experience in Vancouver?
Um, it's where I became an adult. I'm in love with the nature, the mountains. Like, it's the nature for me. It's not so much the people because it's difficult to actually make friends. Um, What else? Yeah. I mean, the people that I do connect with, most of my friends, all my friends are from Toronto. So it's weird. Like, there's a difficult aspect of like making friends here, but I don't know. The vibe. I don't know. I love the vibe, the energy.
And so, what makes it difficult to make friends here as opposed to Toronto? Is there
That's a good
anything
question.
that you can pinpoint?
It's I don't know if it's I don't even know if it's the particular place, because when I was in Toronto, like I was living in Ajax, right? And so the friends that I met, there's just this natural connection, naturally, like we came from the same place. When I interact with other Black people, it's a soul thing. It's soul deep. I love every other human being. It's just the connection's not the same. When I talk to a white person about dance hall, we can't talk the same. We can't dance the same. It's just different. So I'll have friends with every other race as well, but like it's this family thing with Black people. Does that answer your question?
Yep. So when you think about Hogan's Alley being the Black Hollywood, like Sabrina said to us, and seeing it what it is today, how does that make you feel?
I think it's sad because I'm a clear example of someone who needs that information presented to them. Like, we need to physically see these monuments. We need to see the history. We need to hear the history. As kids growing up, more importantly, because it retains more. So it makes me sad when I hear that like there's these magnificent people that lived before us. These historic experiences that are just completely going away. And I don't understand why.
And why should this be important to Canada and Canada's history? Like, why is it something that we should highlight in Canadian history?
I think all histories are very important. We should know where we came from, to know where we're going. I talk to like other races, like they'd be like, "Oh, what's your favorite food?" And I'm like, "My favorite food is oxtail rice and peas." They're like, "What's that?" It's like, I know a lot about Asian food. I know a lot about Italian food. Why does nobody know about Jamaican food? That's bizarre to me. It's like, and I think it's because like it's just not available. Like you have to go to a hole in the wall to find it usually, especially in Vancouver. You got to go to a distance to find that, and it's bizarre. Like, why is the world not more like just inclusive and just understanding of other races and cultures and stuff? You know?
So are there any other things that you feel would be important to mention that pertains to Black history, to Black Canadian history specifically, and how you identify yourself or how you relate it to your Vancouver experience or just your overall experience?
I want to call out a situation I saw recently where like it happens a lot, and to each their own, but everyone has their own experiences. They're obviously very obliged to whatever their experience is. I'm not trying to belittle anyone's experience, but so, for example, a white person walks by a group of Black people and they're like, "Oh, interview." And it's like the reaction of some of the Black people is like, they just never seen a group of Black people before. And it's like, you've probably had a lot of experiences why you felt the need to respond that way, but that was an opportunity to show her what we were doing. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm always coming from. I'm always coming from a place of love and inclusivity, because then you're doing what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, we're judging, we're not including everybody in the whole conversation, the whole amalgamation of just love. Like, why are we seeing different colors? Why can't we just love each other? You know?
What would you like to see as a vision for the future for the Black community in Vancouver?
Definitely more events. I mean, there's a lot of events that happen, but for some reason it's difficult to find them. Like, you have to follow Black Vancouver. Like, I don't know why it's not more like through face. I don't know. I'm not very good at like figuring this sort of stuff out, but I would love to see more cultural events. I love these murals. There's so many of them. Like, you just have to find them. It's as much information as possible, because honestly, the whole 2020 BLM movement, I think it woke up a lot of people, including myself. I was very ignorant before. It wasn't until then where I'm like, yo, bro, I should probably figure out like history and stuff. It's embarrassing to say, but it's like, that's just where I came from. So as much as information as possible, more love, more understanding. Yeah. And get our food out there somehow. Like, more people need to try our food. Our food is so good. Yeah.
And so even in your industry, filming, how do you find the racism or the treatment as a people, a person of color, and you're from Toronto compared to here? What's that experience been like?
It's a great question. So again, I have some friends who have expressed their experiences, but for me, it's like no one told me that I was like Black and that's some sort of victimization situation. Like I've just literally viewed myself as a person in the world, and everything I am, I just embrace. But within the acting industry, I've never noticed any sort of typecasting. I never said I shouldn't read for this part because of whatever the specs are. I just kind of go at it the best I can, and I ignore anything else, or I just didn't see anything else. But I will say, nobody knows how to do our hair. I will say that. They don't know. They don't hire people. Like, they'll come in and be like, yeah, I've worked with all hair types. As soon as you hear them say that, it's a lie. It's a lie. They don't know how to do our hair. And I just wish they would be more honest and hire more Black hairstylists that can like educate. And I do know there's this one Black hairstylist who is going around and actually like educating like salons, and like she's teaching them. It's like, that's what we need to be doing as opposed to talking shit. Solution oriented, you know what I mean? Like teach them how to do the hair. Other than that, yeah. And makeup could use some work as well. More Black and makeup artists.
Thanks so much, Samantha.
Thanks for having me.